she know her around me. How can this be? Actions opposite of what she preach. Tells me be free, then she goes short is on my leash. And I overlook it, can't believe that she's crooked. Look at everything she done, plenty blessings I took from. Just the thought of it gives me sugar. Double cross me, she wouldn't. Couldn't fathom the plots and plans against a man when she cooking. Come on, put it. Know I love you and it's grown since birth. Elementary, learn your pledge. Taught me why you came first. Blood, sweat, and tears drop in the bucket. So much more your worth. No, you never do me harm, and I'm defending you to dirt. So
send me to my grave.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Hello, and welcome to the Chop Shop on Beyond the Apex. We chop it up about any topic surrounding motorsports. Let me introduce the hosts, Josh and Preston.
All right, one day. So here we are, back again.
We are back. Before we start, let's get a quick shout out to our sponsors.
All right, that was good.
That was it.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Cheers. Man, so just dead the mood, like killed the mood right there. Let's thank all those people that support. Yeah, that's right. You know, there's got nobody. Just
It's all right. Sometimes you got to do things on your own.
How's your weekend been?
It's great, man. Other than the rain, but even in the rain, it's good.
Every day this weekend. Cold rain.
It's all right though. It is all right. Because next week's gonna be nice, and then sets us up to be appreciative of the track. The track's coming up this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's always gonna be good stuff.
You said you're not gonna be able to go.
I mean, my car is not going to be ready in the time because that order got canceled, which I was pretty bummed about.
For your rotors?
Yeah, so I thought it didn't say that they were out of stock or anything on the website. So then after I put the order in and all that stuff, then they sent me an email like 2 days later. What was it, like New York? I don't know, like New York Motorsports, something like that though. But there was another perk though because it was going to be local. Relatively local. And I was like, oh, dude, like, they'll be here in like 2 days. Yeah. And they sent me an email like, yeah, we don't know when these things will ship or whatever the case, like, here's your refund.
Well, even if you don't make it up to the track, the way it's working, the way I saw it working actually was like, I'm going to go up to Massachusetts and see my folks on the 5th. I think that's the Friday. Or no, that's...
5th is Saturday.
Saturday. So the 4th in the evening, I'm leaving here to go up to Massachusetts. Say what's up to my folks, hang out with them. Then my girl's coming up on Saturday and bringing her daughters. And then we're all going to hang out in Massachusetts for the day on Saturday. And then Sunday, the first day of the track event, the Certified Knee Draggers event, like I was going to go down there. I'm not actually riding for that weekend. Is it this coming weekend?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not riding that Sunday. I'm just going to be there for, videography, taking pictures, and maybe like entertain the girls too, because the girls are gonna be at the track.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like introduce them to motorcycle riders and see if they think that's a cool event.
Yeah.
But after that, yeah, I'm just coming back. So if you do want to meet up there on that Sunday, there's plenty of stuff to capture, and I don't know, as far as like practicing photography and things like that, it'd be a good spot. Like a lot of fast action, a lot of even people just like sitting around BSing, barbecue, stuff like that. So if you're interested, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's still hope.
Yeah.
There's still hope that stuff can get in this week. So I'm about to order, waiting to hear back from the company, and then gonna order a whole set of, so all 4 of them, and then brake pads for everything. And then I was gonna get new lines and all that stuff too while I'm down in there. So
might as well.
I mean, that's that might as well stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't decided on the lines just because it's like how much benefit is there going to be really? I'm not getting like a new brake system, so I'm not running like a big brake kit or anything. So not yet. So if I was going to do that, obviously. I'm with it. Maybe, on that initial bite, maybe. Just more pressure coming in faster, but at the same time, like...
Not an emergency.
Yeah.
So
I'm not tracking it, so...
Right. What were we talking about today? I remember at the end of our session last time, we had kind of discussed what we wanted to have in the upcoming episodes. I forgot what we... Actually, the other night, no BS, I was laying in bed, awake like I always do, and I was like, damn, this is something that really grinds my gears about motorcycle and car people, and I want to talk about this, but I spaced it. Next morning it was gone.
Dang.
But there was something that just like really grinds my gears about.
What I hate about, I mean, we talked about this before, and it's just more like an annoyance though, is when people, like when you're asking questions about things, you know, and people like think that you're a master mechanic.
God, you just reminded me.
There
Yeah,
it is.
continue.
See,
Sorry.
I'm just saying like that, just that topic alone, you know, people assume that you're either a master mechanic, you know, that you're a tuner, or that you're like the most well-versed gearhead that there is, you know, immediately when you post a question about something and not think it for a second that maybe this is this person's starting point, you know, and it's like...
On the other side of that though, I remember complaining to you when we were in Japan about this, how you post up on a forum somewhere like, hey, does anybody know what turbocharger this is? I've just pulled it off my GTR and I know it's not a factory R32 turbocharger.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, maybe that's not a good example.
Kill yourself.
Yeah. Or take it to Speed Factory. They'll figure out what turbo
That's
it
true.
is. Like,
That's
no,
true.
I have a turbo that I just pulled off my car.
Yeah.
I'm greasy and I have this thing in my hands. I'm posting on here so you guys can tell me
Right.
what I'm holding in my hands. And no, take it to Speed Factory or take it to somebody else. Have this person tune it or do whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
maybe I feel like sometimes we don't give people enough credit to do their own work. And a lot of times it's just that shell out the money, have somebody else do it type thing.
Yeah.
Which was actually the topic that I wanted to talk about with you, the built not bought argument.
Yeah, that can get heated. Yeah, that can get heated.
I've actually transitioned from one. We actually talked about it on the show that night for a little bit, but like I've transitioned from being like diehard. I have to be the only one to turn wrenches. Me and my crew have to be the only ones to turn wrenches on my project cars. To like nowadays, I'm just like, I'm just gonna pay somebody to do it so that I can go focus on like making videos or riding my motorcycle or just enjoying staring at a wall if I really want to. I'd rather do that than like bust rusted bolts and like devote all my time after work to.
Take it
doing
easy with the
something.
busted roll thing, okay? With the rusted bolt thing, because I'm going through it right now.
I'm sorry,
Right.
too soon.
Take it easy. It's
sorry.
rough. But no, I agree though, because sometimes it's like I love to do certain things on my own, you know, I love to do certain things on my own projects and doing all that, but dude, sometimes it's either your level of knowledge and expertise, your own tool inventory, and then what happens if, you know, when you're doing that job and then something else happens that you were not prepared for.
Yeah.
And then now you either need to go get a slew of other tools, you need to call in reinforcements anyway, or at that point, you know, like now you need to get a tow truck and go take your car somewhere to go get it fixed because of whatever happened. You know, now you have an immovable object and you're like, well, great. But yeah, some things, dude. And there's some things that I just won't touch just because I have no idea about. Like any kind of machine work, dude, like I'm no way. I'm not doing any of that stuff, dude. Not doing any like that engine wiring, all that, no way. Like no.
There's certain levels though. Like I don't know. I don't think there's like a set line that I won't cross, depending on the vehicle or depending on like where I'm at the time. But there definitely is a very low threshold for me right now. For I know you know, but like for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, when I got out of high school, I went straight to an automotive school. So I went to a trade school. I learned all the ins and outs about, you know, steering and suspension, vehicle electronics, engine building, transmission rebuilding, alternative fuels. Like basically they hit like all these different modules for everything that you can need to know to do work in the auto service industry. Got out of there, worked in the industry for like, 8 years or so. Rolled around with my boys from Unit S down in Virginia Beach and our crew. But most of us were the guys in the school or people that we met during that time period. So we were all just like greasy car mechanic guys that like to race and drink a lot. And at that point in time, all of us kind of had the same mentality that like we need to be the ones to work on our cars, which kind of makes sense, honestly, because you spend all that money on school. Why not utilize it on your own vehicles and like save yourself some money, right?
Right.
But it got to the point, I know a lot of times in all of our lives that we had a project sitting around, like either it was our daily driver and we needed to get it fixed and it just took forever to get parts in and get things broken loose and reinstalled and reconfigured or retuned or whatever. But it's like, there's a certain level of wisdom that comes along with just, there's a certain level of wisdom that I gained over the years that says, I don't want this project sitting, my daily driver sitting for 2 weeks. I can't depend on other people for rides. let me just turn it in to a reputable place of business, have them turn around 3 days, 4 days maybe, and it just be a done, warranted, or guaranteed service.
Yeah.
But yeah, at one point in time, I didn't really see that. And now I kind of teeter-totter back and forth, because if it's like some basic service and I can just jack it up real quick, knock out, regular maintenance or whatever, cool, that's easy day. But even like a simple job, like let's say doing a clutch, it's more involved, it's more advanced, but every single time you do a clutch job, there's something that pops up. I don't think there's like a smooth clutch job ever out there. Like the bell housing bolts are gonna be hard to get to, the starter was gonna be hard to get to, the wiring is gonna be configured in a weird place where you can't undo one plug to drop the engine or the transmission, or just rusted shit. It's just, there's always something. I would rather, when it comes time to do a clutch, I see the prices that people charge, like $800 for a clutch job.
Yeah.
Take my money.
You're like, I've been there, done that once. Not doing it again.
Nope.
Not doing it again. I think it's, like you were talking about, is just the job itself. Like, what is it really? Like, are you replacing just rotors? Are you replacing like little small components in the engine bay? Are you doing like some cosmetic stuff? Or are you doing some relatively involved work? Are you changing out an axle? Like,
dude, oh my god.
Probably
Have you ever
don't
changed out the axles on the GTR yet?
No.
Yo, that front right axle, the passenger side axle, or front driver side axle, is the biggest pain. Like, there's a C-clamp. I don't know if a lot of other vehicles have that same design, but there's like a C-clamp or C-ring on the inner portion of the axle.
Yeah.
That kind of like lodges into the transmission, and for some reason that did not want to let loose when I was trying to pop that axle out of there. I remember I was sitting in the hobby shop trying to do my damn, was it a clutch? It was either my clutch or my exhaust upgrades. But yeah, trying to get that axle out. It took me a whole half a day.
Yeah.
Just there with a pry bar, and I'm like, am I prying too hard? Is there something I'm forgetting? Is there something else I was supposed to do loose? Can I just cut this axle and get a new axle? Like, you start going through a whole bunch of different scenarios in your head, like, how much does a front clip on an R32 GTR cost? Like, can I weld that back up here? I don't know.
Another thing too is parts. I know you talk about like waiting for parts, but sometimes it's just like the interchangeable parts too between chassis. So between stuff like with our cars, either things being interchangeable with each other, with the 350Zs or with the Infinities, or with like, when does it stop, dude? When does it stop? When does it start? What is actually compatible? What's not? And then it's always like, oh, I'll just go and get the name brand high dollar market stuff. And you're like, damn. Which one is the right one to go with?
Forums are some of like the best sources of information, but it can also lead you on some serious wild goose chases.
Yeah.
I can't tell
Bolts
you
right up after you change out all the knuckles.
Yeah.
And all the suspension. You're like, oh.
Yeah, just this last
Oh,
thing
I guess we have a different understanding of what bolt right up means.
Just this last one I was looking up, it was for the ZX-10. So the first gen ZX-10 that I got.
Yeah.
The brakes are pretty spongy. Like they're not very like confidence building. And one of the things for the ZX-10 guys is to upgrade to either like 08 Honda CBR calipers, or I forgot what year, ZX14 calipers. And a lot of them are interchangeable parts, and bolt sizes are the same, but like some calipers use spacers from the factory, some don't. And trying to get like a clear cut, like, okay, if you're using the CBR calipers from this year, you need to get these thickness of spacers, and like, are they factory, are they aftermarket, what is the actual dimensions of them? And like, people ask all these questions on the forum, but like nobody has a concrete answer. Somebody will post up there and be like, I use the ZX14 calipers and I didn't need to use spacers at all. Like, okay, well, how did you go about doing that? There's no description, no explanation. So anybody that's looking through there is like, well, I'm just gonna buy all these parts and then just try and like throw it together, and see what happens.
Or you just buy the wrong stuff.
Or buy the completely wrong stuff.
General, it's like, well.
Needless to say, I've had CBR calipers for about a year now and haven't put them on, so.
It's alright. I got some. Remember those drill and sliding rotors that I got? I mean, those were the wrong size. Or like they're a different thickness.
But those are supposed to be for what?
Those are for the twin turbo 300ZX. So it's like they're the same, but the GTSTs are different than the GTRs, and then like the thicknesses are different. Like they're same size, same diameter, just the thickness is a little bit less, and it's like, well, what do we do here? Can you still use them? Can you not? Can you do whatever? Do you have to use?
You gotta figure it out yourself. It's
No.
an adventure.
Nope. And it's like, well, no, I'm just gonna order these more expensive ones, and either hopefully return these ones or just sell those to someone with a 300ZX that wants some drilled and slotted rotors that are good. Luckily, they weren't like super expensive, but it's still like the principle of the fact.
Yeah.
That it's like, well,
What would you prefer? Like a fully built, I'm not gonna say sleeper, but like a fully built, everyday-ish car, or like a straight from the factory, like exotic supercar, or if you had to just pick one.
I would do the sleeper.
Yeah? What's your ideal sleeper?
Oh man, I don't know. Like a true sleeper, or like you talking about like doing an LS swap in a Honda Accord, like a 95 Honda Accord?
Doesn't have to be even something like that. I mean, borderline exotic car, I would say even is like an NSX.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather build an NSX or have like a Bugatti or something?
Oh my gosh. If I had did I win these cars or do I have to buy them? Because that changes everything too.
You have the money that you could buy it, either one.
If I had the money, then I wouldn't buy a Bugatti.
Yeah? You took up the NSX?
There's no way. There's no way I'd buy a Bugatti. Yeah, I would buy an NSX that could destroy anything on the road.
Okay.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, I mean, having a Bugatti would be awesome, obviously. But, I don't know. It almost... I've never been in the Bugatti. I've never been in a supercar before.
I'll just use that as an example.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just any supercar, though. Any car of that trim level that's in that neighborhood. I've never sat in one before, and like they look gorgeous, dude. And they look beautiful, and I'm pretty sure that you would think that you were in a dream if you were in one. But at the same time, dude, I think about like if I had the money for one, like I wouldn't have to. Dang, I didn't mean to do all that. But if I had to,
like a Band-Aid.
I know. Just if I like for insurance and stuff, like going into those kind of things. Obviously, if I had the money, I'm not worried about those kind of things either. But still, like driving that thing around the road, and then. If I hit a pothole and I bend one of those $17,000 rims, or like if I throw that thing into a ditch, then I have $1 million car that's in a ditch. Versus if I bought an NSX for 60 grand and then built a $200,000 motor and put it in there and transmission and suspension and stuff in there, then I have, I don't know, a $250,000 car. Yeah. But that NSX is something pretty sweet.
They are pretty sweet.
But yeah, I think I would want a sleeper just because, I don't know, I think it's something cool about them, man. Something like mysterious about them. Like I would love to get a Chaser, like a Toyota Chaser, and then just build that thing and just keep the body relatively stock, and then just put a set of wheels on it. And
the reason I ask is because honestly, I think a lot of times, I don't know if everybody has this sort of like back and forth in their head, or if they've ever really even thought about it, but for like the built not bought argument, I think a lot of people put too much emphasis, or at least I did, on building it themselves. I would much rather have a built vehicle over a bought like sports car, whatever. Yeah. But I don't have to build it myself. It can be built by somebody else. Yeah. Like I would much rather have the built project than something. It's just not very unique.
What I would really love to do is build like a truck or like an older SUV. Like one of the older Land Cruisers.
Okay.
Like I would love to do one of those
for like off-roading.
For anything. Yeah. For cruising around, for obviously being able to go capable to go out into the woods and stuff and do whatever. And put like external gas tanks on there and like solar, whatever you would need to, and then be able to cruise around the city too. But I would love to be able to do that. Yeah. That'd be super fun. Or what I would really love to do, and I got this idea from my buddy Justin, who he had a VW bus that was super dope, but he put a Porsche engine in it, and like I would love to have one of those things, and then have a Westie camper, and just pop that top up there and be cruising around. But then also just be able to like smash it with that Porsche motor in there. Yeah. But
actually, what is it? One of my buddies back in Virginia is having my other buddy Jade build his Volkswagen bus, and they're making it all-wheel drive. They're putting a Subaru Boxer motor in the back.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to have one of those, just because I love VW buses anyway, and then just be able to have it like fully customized, do whatever you want with it, having it drive smooth, and then be responsive still. And
those Porsche motors, actually, there's like kits everywhere for the Volkswagen, I guess.
Yeah.
Either the mounts are the same or there's just like kits that are readily available.
Yeah.
I've seen that a bunch of times.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I just think it'd be fun doing something like that, doing something a little bit different. Just because now that I've had the taste of like truly attaining one of those goals that I've had for years with this car now, and then like planning the next one down the line whenever that does come up, like how do I want to do things, how do I want to line things up,
Right.
and then also trying to make it be realistic and it's not so ridiculous, that it's only serving one purpose, that you can actually have a more versatile vehicle. That's why I'm so drawn to those Land Cruisers though. Like you could probably put bullets through those engines and be straight with them, and then their bodies are good, and there's all kinds of weak points that you need to research and stuff, of course, but I think for a foundation, those things are pretty hard to beat though.
Yeah. You said for like multi-purpose, function. What about the I'm not gonna say this grinds my gears, but what about people that build show cars that are literally just never see open road? It's just chrome and nice paint, and they just trailer it and put it in a show, and that's it. What's your thought process or your mentality about that sort of a car project?
Not actually used.
They're cool. They're obviously great to look at, but it's like, I don't know, like I understand it, but like I wouldn't do that. It's like buying a collector's item or something like that, like buying those toys that are cool, like limited edition things, like those are awesome, but like you never cracked the case of it. You just bought it to
Look at it.
Yeah, to look at and like keep the dust off, It's like
To each his own. Isn't that?
it is absolutely. Like,
answer.
I get it 100%. I love to see great looking cars. Like I go to car shows and I see those dudes who are sitting there and those gals who are sitting there wiping down their stuff, dude, and spraying everything down and everything's cool. And you're like, I got 17 miles on this. And you're like, awesome.
The only time
That's
I ever complained actually was I remember I was in Northern Virginia. I think it was in maybe Alexandria, one of those cities up there, at a car show, and just like I couldn't fathom the number of vehicles there that like had not a wire tuck job, but actually had like no wires attached.
Yeah.
So like, this car doesn't run. It does not run. This is
like
not.
They gotta go ahead and hook up a battery and like do this, that, and the other thing, like spark it, jump it real quick, and like please don't die.
Or that's even more than what I was seeing. It was like there is no battery cables, there is no spark plug wires, there's nothing to make this car run. It's just a shiny engine sitting in a shiny engine bay. I'm like, well, it looks okay, but to me it's just a big hunk of metal.
Yeah. My thing is I love clean engine bays, like that's my goal. Like after I hit everything else going, like I'm gonna work on my engine bay, like the slow work in progress, and clean that thing up so when I pop the hood it's clean. Like nothing crazy and like dazzling and like, oh my gosh, this is insane, but just like it looks neat, it looks tidy, everything's good. So then if you see anything leaking or whatever, you know what it is. And it's like, is this old or is this, whatever the case, or, but yeah, like just seeing stuff like that, it's like, yeah, it's dope. Those things are great, but like, where's the functionality as well? Because if you pull it and everything and do all those things and have everything dialed in the way you need to, then sure, like tuck some of those extra wires that you need to and then clean it up some. But if you're going to clean it up and then have your car not be able to run, then I hope you're making money off of that car then.
That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of times though, when you get to that level, it's like, yeah, it is a show car. No, I don't use it, but McGuire's paint pays me every time I show up at a car show.
Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
Or it's your shop car.
Yeah, or
it's the shop car that you wanted to show people like what you can do, what you and your business can do, and then that's all you did. Like let me show and display this, and that's it.
Right.
Like that makes sense. But if it's your car, and you don't have all that extra overhead, or you don't have those sponsors, and you're not making any money off of it, and you just want to do it for a passion, then okay, cool. But like if you're just doing it and you kind of fell into it because you couldn't finish it, but it looks really good, then that kind of sucks, But at the same time, there's, everyone's got their thing.
Yeah.
So
like I said, obviously there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's not like one opinion's better than another. My opinion is the greatest, but there's no right or wrong answer to that. It was just something that I was curious about that was in my head because I've often thought about it, you know, like even with the GTR, you know, for the longest time, when I first bought it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep things super conservative. This is a classic vehicle. I don't want to break it. Well, that's still true. I don't want to break it because it's really expensive. But I was like, I don't want to break it. I want to go with something conservative, like, you know, 400, 500 horsepower. That's good enough for like driving around town or whatever.
That is over good enough.
Yeah.
Because from the
I mean, I can't be having no Corvettes roll up next to me and thinking they're hot, you know.
No, but they are though.
They are.
So.
But I want to be able to keep up. I want to be able to like show people like, okay, you have a Skyline. Let me see what a Skyline can do.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have 1,200 horsepower to do that.
You definitely don't, but it helps.
It does help a lot.
Yeah.
1,200 horsepower. That'll show some people some stuff.
That really does a lot.
Thank you for joining us at the Chop Shop on Beyond the Apex. Please subscribe to the channel and come back to check out the next episode. Goodbye now.
Send me to my grave.
Let me tell you about this little lady in my life.
Send me
I guess
to
you could
my
call it a prearranged
grave.
relationship, since neither of us ever really agreed on
Yes,
to my knowledge.
yes, yes.
But I love her though, and I think she
I
loves
gotta
me.
speak me.
But you know how relationships go. Now check it out now. She started with the promise of perfect.